Hello and welcome to the Outdoor Cooking Man YouTube channel where we cook stuff on the griddle. We will be cooking stuff primarily on the griddle, the smoker sometimes, and of course the old school grill. What you see on the screen here is actually a Blackstone griddle. I'll actually do a separate unboxing and review video for that griddle, but what you see right here is just me cooking egg roll in a bowl. Now, I'm actually going to upload two versions of this video. One's going to be a time lapse. This one's a time lapse where it's about 10 minutes long, and then the full length video. Now, what I like to do is I like to start my grill up, let it heat up for about 15 minutes, and then I'll put on some olive oil. As I mentioned, I'm cooking egg roll in a bowl here. Now, the recipe that I found online was interesting because it uses breakfast sausage and ground beef. Now, I'm going to put a link in the description to all of the recipes that you find throughout this channel. And what I do is actually real simple. You can see that's Jimmy Dean breakfast sausage, regular. I've got a little kid, so I can't have it too spicy, but you know, I do want to let you guys know that I am not a professional cook. And so what you may see here from time to time is something that is not maybe recommended by professionals. I'm just a guy that enjoys cooking on the griddle. Pro tip, don't have your wife suggest that you get a griddle. If that's the case, you will be cooking every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner out there, and I'll be tracking my journey so that you can see it. Now, I've had that griddle. I don't remember which model it is, but like I said, I'll do a separate video for that. I've had this griddle since maybe April, and this is September, and I really do enjoy it. There's some things that I don't like, but you know, for the most part, I enjoy it. The link in the description will actually send you to both the recipes that you can get access to, as well as the best griddle cooking tips for beginners. So if you're looking to get started, definitely check out that free checklist guide handout thing that I've created. Now, again, this is going to be time lapse, so things are going to go pretty quickly. Now, with egg roll in a bowl, it's actually really easy, and I should probably note at this point as well, I buy most of the stuff from the store. I'm not into, you know, cutting up onions and doing all of that painstaking stuff. This was done in the evening after school and how my wife got off work. Now, I do want to let you know that I'm cooking probably on low to low medium heat. And I was actually surprised how quickly things came together. Now, when you cook on the Blackstone griddle, it does come together really quickly, but I kind of like to stay on top of it. I like to keep it moving, and so that one side doesn't get too burned or overcooked. Now, from time to time, I'll just kind of let this run through, and I'll put some music up so that you don't have to hear me speak the entire time. But you know, this is a really easy recipe. I like this recipe from time to time because it's keto friendly, and it doesn't take a lot to make. I also like cooking on the Blackstone griddle because it's real easy cleanup, not so many dishes you have to worry about, and you can get this knocked out pretty quick. In this time lapse, you'll see how I both cook and clean the griddle. Now, one thing, if you look online, you'll see that the recommendations for cleaning vary. Some people don't like it hot. Some people like it very hot. You'll see mine at the very end where I'll actually have it turned up to very high heat. Let's see. And if you take a look, you can see I've got the breakfast sausage on the left and ground beef on the right. And again, I was surprised how quickly this started to come together. So one thing that I did notice with my Blackstone is that the back of the grill actually gets really hot. It gets much hotter than the front. So you could see my ground beef was pretty ready. And what I like to do is I like to move everything to the front of the griddle just so that it doesn't get too bad. And I also added a little bit of olive oil on my breakfast sausage just so that it wouldn't dry out. But, you know, like I said, I like to keep touching the sausage and ground beef just so that, I don't know, I get kind of nervous about it. But as you can see here, I mix the two together, and this is where the fun begins. I try and merge it all together so that it's an even disbursement. Now, that is about a pound of ground beef. and then a pound of the breakfast sausage as well. So 2 pounds, and then you'll see I'll add in a lot of coleslaw. Now, as I mentioned, you can see the recipe in the description, but it's a really easy thing to make here. Now, as you can see here, I'm actually making a little bit of a circle so I can put in my sauce and kind of mix it all together. But really easy thing to do. It doesn't take a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort. Right here you can see that my meat's cooking a little bit. All right, you can see here I've used a little bit of sesame oil. That is a little bit of soy sauce and then some onion. I kind of went heavy-handed with the onion. That was on accident. But, got a good mix in. And then I'll actually add in the coleslaw. And then I'll actually add in more, both sesame oil as well as soy sauce. But you can see I just kind of, I kind of played it by ear. That's a lot of coleslaw, but it's good. You can see I put in some soy sauce there, and then I just got a good mix. And then I added in a little bit more of the soy sauce at the end to give it a little bit more flavor. My kids actually really enjoy this, and then a little bit more coleslaw. I don't know why I went crazy with the coleslaw, but you live and you learn. I think this might be the first or second time I actually made this dish on the Blackstone. And so I want to make sure that I had a good amount of everything. And you can see that turned into a pretty big pile. That was a 3-pound bag, and I probably used about 2.5 pounds. So if you're thinking about this, it was 2 pounds of meat and then about 2 pounds of coleslaw. So it turned out pretty good. I think at the very end, I added a little bit more. I turned the heat up too, just to make sure everything was cooked thoroughly. Last thing that you want is something not cooked all the way. But yeah, actually really easy, really simple cook. And it doesn't take a lot of energy and effort. At the end of this, you'll see how I clean it. And you'll actually see the finished product. I put it in an apple container, as you can see right there. That's the only thing I could find quickly. All right, we'll give it one more toss just to make sure everything is evenly distributed. And like I said, I was surprised at how much the kids like it. Sometimes they'll actually add in a little bit more soy sauce or even teriyaki sauce. I'm not a big fan of doing that, but whatever to get them to eat. And then you can see here, just cleaning it up, putting it onto that apple bowl. And then once we're done here, we'll actually do a little bit of cleanup. But all intents and purposes, very easy. In total, the entire video probably took about 22 minutes, I believe. But this is cut in half to about 10 minutes. You can see that's the finished product right there. And then the last little bit there is, I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup. Like I said, I like to turn my griddle all the way up to high heat. For me, it makes it easier to clean. Now, what you'll notice is if you're using a sticky substance like sesame oil, or if you're using soy sauce, it can be kind of a challenge to clean. And so I like to turn mine all the way up and then make sure I put a lot of water on it. Look at that steam. I put a lot of water on there and I go over it a couple times just to make sure I get everything up, because you don't want to have like a weird layer when you're ready to cook. Now, I like to take my time to make sure that I go through and clean this thing up thoroughly so that when I'm ready to cook next time, I can just hop on and do it. And so, I would say probably in general, the worst part about griddle cooking is simply that, the time that it takes to clean up at the end. It doesn't take a ton of time, but it's just something that if you're cooking on a grill, you don't really spend a lot of time doing it. But you can see I make sure that I go over it a few different times. And then once I go over it enough times, I will take a paper towel, take a little bit of paper towel, spread some olive oil on it once again, and then I will I will kind of finish how I start, and I kind of bookend it to make sure that it's well seasoned, it's well ready to go for the next time that I'm ready to go. As you can see here, throw a little bit of olive oil on it. We go through a lot of olive oil for this, and then away you go. So yeah, this is it, the time lapse. If you want to watch the full thing, it's like I said, 22 minutes. Feel free to watch that video. Be sure to subscribe, follow, do all of that good stuff. Thanks a lot, guys, for hopping on and watching. Have a great day.